Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today we're going to be wrapping up all the books that I read in February, March, and April. So at the beginning of the year, I said I wanted to bring wrap-ups back this year because I didn't do any monthly wrap-ups in the year of 2023. And I like them mostly for myself because at the end of the year, I forget everything I've ever read. And so for me, it's nice to go back and see what I read each month and what I thought about those books and to kind of refresh my memory about what the books are even about. Now, I was unable to film any wrap-ups between February and April because school was just crazy. I barely posted any videos. I think the only ones I posted were TBRs. I don't even know if I did anything else because school was just crazy and I had absolutely no time to film or edit. But now I'm done school and I was debating how I was gonna do this, if I should just wrap up the 3 months in one video, if I should do separate videos for each of them. But I thought the best way to do it was to wrap them all at once, and to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to tier rank them. I feel like people are doing tier rankings less and less, but I think they're fun and I think it's a nice way to do a wrap up because thinking back to what I read in February, that seems like so long ago. So I thought we're gonna make it a little more interesting. So we're going to be ranking, I think there's 18 books that I read between February and April, which is not very many, especially since I want to reach 100 goals this year. 100 goals, 100 books. So we are going to, okay, I don't think I've screen recorded since getting this new computer, so hopefully this is working. Actually, maybe we should test it out. Okay, so here is my tier list. So I decided, because all I've been doing lately is listening to Tortured Poets Department. So each tier is named after a lyric in one of the songs in the Tortured Poets Department because that's all I've been listening to. So the top tier is Secret Gardens of My Mind from I Hate It Here. This is like new favorite books, books that I found easy to escape to. Secret Gardens of My Mind, you know, because I hate it here. Then we have Down Bad, Crying at the Gym. So books I really liked, books I may even have loved, maybe books that made me cry. I'm down bad for them. They're just not quite new favorite books for me. Then we have Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Sophia. Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. That is a mouthful. But these are basically books that like I liked, but they're not gonna stick with me, you know, like they could be Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, you know? You get it. Then we have I'm So Depressed, I Act Like It's My Birthday. Basically books that disappointed me, books I wanted more out of, books that maybe made me depressed because I didn't like them. And then finally we have Were You Sent by Someone Who Wanted Me Dead. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. So, I don't know. These are just silly names, whatever. So, I don't know, this isn't really in order that I read them. So, I'll try to... Whoops, okay. So sorry about the ads. Anyways, so I guess we're starting with Finley Donovan is Killing It. I read this, it was the first book I finished, I think in April, and I started it at the end of March. And I read it for the Buzzwordathon in March, which was people's names in the title. And this is about, I feel like everyone knows what this book is because it's quite popular. It's been popular for a few years. It's essentially about a woman who is a writer, but she's kind of going through a hard time. Her ex-husband is threatening to take custody of her kids and she's on deadline for her new book, but she is experiencing a writer's block. She normally writes like mystery thrillers, and one day she is at a Panera with her agent, and her agent is saying like, listen, just like figure out a way to kill the next one, meaning like a character in her book, and then we'll get the money and then we'll move on to the next one. And Finley's like, okay. And then a woman in the booth next to them overhears, thinks that Finley is a hit woman, and asks her to kill her husband for her for a large amount of money. And so Finley's like, well, I don't want to kill anyone, but that's a lot of money. And then hijinks ensue. And this is always described as a cozy mystery. I did not find it cozy. I found it stressful. I don't know what's cozy about it, to be honest. I mean, I know it's like a very silly premise, but I found it quite stressful and the stakes were high. Like, Finley could go to jail because of the events of this book, or she could lose her kids, or like put her family in danger. I don't know. I thought it was stressful. So, I don't know. I gave it 3 stars, I think, and I think I'm gonna put it in Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, because like I didn't dislike it. I think it's a good book, but it's just not gonna stick with me. So I think that's where I have to put it. Then we have I'll Give You the Sun, which is the last book I finished, I think, in April, and I love this. So this again is a booktube darling. I feel like it came out in 2014, and so I feel like everyone has already read this like 10 years ago, but I read it for the Buzzwordathon in April, which was Nature Words, and I also read it for the Magical Readathon. And so this book is following two siblings, actually two twins, Jude and Noah, and when they were younger they were inseparable. They were always known as like Jude and Noah together, not Jude and Noah as individuals. And it's written in a really interesting way because Noah's perspective is told from when they're 13, I think, and Jude's perspective is told when they're 16. And by seeing like the past and future of these characters who are so like entwined in each other's lives, you learn that in between these two time periods, their mother passes away in a car accident, and this affects them immensely because in Noah's perspective, he clearly seems like their mom's almost favorite kid, and Jude is feeling like Noah's kind of like stealing their mom from her, and that's really hard to go through when you're like just entering teenagehood. And then in Jude's perspective, their mother has died, and Jude feels like her mother's ghost is haunting her, and she's mad at her for a reason that I won't say, and Jude is just trying to make it right. And we also learn that in between these two timelines, something else happened that kind of caused Jude and Noah, aside from their mother dying, but something happened between them that caused them to not really speak anymore, and we don't know what happened. And so through these two perspectives, you're learning more about these characters and their relationship with their parents, and then the people they meet. And I thought it was beautiful. Like, at first it took me a while to get into the writing style, but I thought it was beautifully told, and I loved the characters in this book, and I loved the like side characters that we get to meet through these characters, and then how everything just kind of comes together at the end. I thought it was beautiful. So I gave this book 5 stars, and it might be my favorite book I've read so far this year. So obviously it's gonna go in Secret Gardens in my mind because I loved it so much and I thought it was beautiful. I don't know, that's all I really have to say about it. So next we have Interesting Facts About Space. I think I gave this 4 stars, I think. And this is about a woman, I don't remember her name, but she is very anxious. I believe she is autistic. I can't remember if they say it in the book or not, but to me she definitely read as autistic, and she has a like deathly fear of bald men. And like I find that the way that's described, it sounds like it's gonna be very quirky, like, oh, she's scared of bald men, like who isn't, am I right? Like no, she's like terrified, and throughout the book you find out why. And it's a very interesting look at like a person's trauma and how she has repressed a lot of her memories because of this trauma that happened when she was younger. And it was definitely an interesting book. Interesting Facts About Space. It was stressful. I listened to the audiobook, and like it was a pretty quick read, and I was almost really glad that it was done because I was just like, oh my god, like it was stressful being in her head. But I thought it was a really great look at trauma. Where do I want to put it though? See, now I'm regretting naming these because like I liked it. I wouldn't say well, I don't know. I'm gonna put it in front of, can I not do that? No? Can I put it here? There. Because I read this in March, I think, and thinking back to it now, I don't remember a lot of details about it, but I know I really enjoyed it while I was reading it. So it's gonna go at the front of Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus because I thought it was kind of forgettable, but also really good. I don't know. I hope you understand. Next we have Funny Story, which I was lucky enough to get an ARC of, and I think I read it back in February, and I really liked it, but I didn't love it. And I've loved every other Emily Henry like adult romance book. I've given them all 5 stars. This one was only a 4-star. It was just missing something for me. I don't know. This is about a woman Daphne, I think is her name. She is a children's librarian, which I liked reading about because I will hopefully be a librarian one day. And recently her fiance left her like a few weeks before their wedding for his best friend. And so now Daphne is living with the fiance's, the fiance's new fiance's ex-boyfriend. So like these two people both left their partners for each other. So now Daphne's living with the guy that her fiance's new fiance left. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, she's living with that guy now. His name's Miles. And then obviously there's a romance between them, but they're still kind of dealing with the fallout of the breakout with their respective partners. And there's also fake dating. I can't remember why. I think it's to make their partners jealous. Something like that. Like, this one did not stick with me very much. There was just something about it that I didn't love, and I feel like if it was any other author, I wouldn't have liked it. Like, I would have liked it even less, but I do love Emily Henry's writing. But there was just something about this one that didn't work for me. I don't know. But it's still down bad crying at the gym. I still really liked it. I still recommend it, but like, not my favorite. Then we have They Never Learn. I really like this book. I'm also gonna put it in down bad. Okay, wait, yes, ahead of funny story. This is about a woman who is a serial killer, but she only kills men who have committed atrocities towards women, who have committed SA or verbal abuse, any sort of abuse towards women. That's who she targets. And it's following her perspective and also the perspective of a student at the school that this professor is teaching at, and kind of how their two lives connect. And I really liked it. I thought it was really fun, and I loved the plot twist that happened like halfway through the book. I thought it was great. And it was just a fun little mystery. I don't know. I really liked it. I don't really have much to say about it, but I really liked it. That's all, you know? Then we have we have 100 Years of Solitude. So I read this for my Pisces vlog, reading like a Pisces. This book was recommended so many times to Pisces, I guess because it's magical realism. I did not like it at all. I am gonna put it in Were You Sent by Someone Who Wanted Me Dead. I'm so sorry. I know this is like a modern classic. Everyone loves this book. I just thought it was really boring. And I know it's probably like, I didn't get it. I think I would have liked it if I read it like in school and someone was like guiding me through the book. But reading it by myself, I did not get it. I didn't know what was going on. All the characters had the same names. I couldn't keep them track. I cannot tell you a single thing about this book except that there was a character who ate dirt. I remember that. I just didn't like it. It was not for me, which is fine. I respect what it does. I mean, it's known as like almost the creator of the magical realism genre. So I respect it for what it is. I just didn't get it, and it was not for me, and that's fine, okay? So then we have Remarkably Bright Creatures, and ooh, where do I want to put this? I think I'm gonna put it at the end of Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, because this is another book. I think it was 3 stars. It was also for my Pisces video, and it was just very forgettable to me. You're following a few perspectives, but it's mainly about a woman who is the cleaning woman at this aquarium, and there is a giant Pacific octopus named Marcellus, and you also get his perspective. And you learn more about this woman's life. Her husband passed away recently, I think, and also her son died when he was 18 years old, and she is still dealing with the grief of that because his death was kind of mysterious. No one really knows what happened. He just kind of disappeared out at sea, I think. And so she's kind of dealing with these still unresolved feelings of grief. And so I really liked the exploration of grief in this book, but I didn't really connect with the characters except for the octopus. But he wasn't even in the book that much, so I don't know. It's kind of forgettable. I don't really remember. I know we have other perspectives. There was this whole other plot about this guy like trying to find his birth mom or something. I don't remember. I don't know. It was fine. I don't want to think about it anymore. Okay, then we have The Dreamers, which was another book I read for the Pisces video. And I'm gonna put this in Secret Gardens in my mind. This was another 5-star. I loved it. I really like this book. It reminded me a lot of The Measure in a way. It's following just like these people's lives, and there's just like a dash of science fiction and how this like little magical element affects these people's lives. So basically there is almost a virus going on that makes people just fall asleep and have these really intense dreams, and they just don't wake up, well, for a long time. And you know, people are trying to figure out how to wake them up. They're trying to study their brain activity because they're like, this is like the deepest dreams that we've ever seen. I don't know. But I thought it was really good. I liked following all the different characters, and this book was really interesting because it was written the year before like lockdown happened, and the way a lot of people reacted to this virus was very similar to how people reacted to COVID. And I just think Karen Thompson Walker knew what she was talking about, because how did she predict all of this with this like mini pandemic almost, because it was I think it was only happening in this one town, if I'm remembering right. But I thought it was great. I really liked it. It's a short book, so I highly recommend it. Then we have Check and Mate, and I'm gonna put this in front of Funny Story, I think, because I did really like it, but again, I found it a little forgettable. But I did really like it while I was reading it. I gave it 4 stars. This is Ali Hazelwood's YA book, and so I definitely did not like it as much as The Love Hypothesis, but I do love her writing as well. Like her and Emily Henry, I think I'll always love their writing. This one's about a girl who is like a chess prodigy, but she hasn't played chess in like 4 years or something because of something. There was an incident that happened that caused her to say she'll never play chess again. And then she meets this boy who is like the best chess player in the world basically, and she ends up playing against him and she beats him, and so everyone's like, who's this girl that beat this guy? I think his name is Nolan something. And so then she kind of gets back into chess, but she's like, how could I do this because of the thing that happened? I'm betraying everyone by playing chess. And I was like, okay, let's relax a little bit. And I know this is YA, so like I understand the feelings that like this is the end of the world because blah blah blah, but like when we find out why she stopped playing chess, I was like I don't know, this is kind of a stretch, but you know, your feelings are valid, girly. Anyway, so I didn't think it was amazing or anything, but I had a good time while reading it. I thought it was still good, and I love Ali Hazelwood's writing, so there you go. Then we have Vicious. And I'm gonna put Vicious here in Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, because I expected so much more from this book and I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of bored. I don't know. I thought the beginning I was very interested. It's following these 2 characters, Victor and Eli, who were best friends. They went to school together, and then they start working on this project to find out if extraordinaries exist, which are people who, after having near-death experiences, like acquire this superpower. And so basically, I mean, there's a lot of talk of self-harm and attempted suicide in this book, and it's described like quite detailed in my opinion. So if those are triggers for you, maybe stay away from this book, because I found some of the scenes a little uncomfortable to read. But basically, you know, they try to do this when they're in school. You get jumps in timelines, so you know that 10 years after they do this in school, one of them's in jail and they hate each other and they both have powers. So you're basically just trying to figure out how we got to this point, and now the one who is in jail wants revenge, but you don't really know what happened. I don't know. I thought it was fine. I don't think I'm gonna read the sequel because I've heard a lot of people say the sequel is not as good as the first one, and I didn't even like the first one that much. But yeah, this was also written, I think, 2013. So it's been a while. I don't know. I'm happy I finally read it, but I didn't love it. And there you go. So then we have Vera Wong. She's going all the way up here. Vera Wong, I mean, up until I'll Give You the Sun, this was my favorite book of the year so far, so now it's my second favorite. I loved this so much. It is, well, first I read this for the Literally Dead book club, and I'm so happy I read it because I loved it so much. If you want to watch the live show, I'll link it down below. I had a lot of technical difficulties during that live show, but it was still really fun. But this is about a woman named Vera Wong, and she owns this tea shop, and she is, I think she's like described as being in her 60s, but she definitely acts older. She doesn't really have any friends. Her son lives in a different state, and one morning she walks downstairs because she lives like above her tea shop, and so she walks into her shop and finds a dead body, and the police begin their investigation, but she doesn't think they're handling it properly, so she takes matters into her own hands to figure out who the murderer is. And so she has her list of suspects as she starts to get to know them, and this book has such strong found family vibes, and I loved I just loved every single character. We get Vera's perspective, but also her 4 suspects. I think there's 4 of them. You get all their perspectives as well, and I loved them so much. I loved their dynamic with each other. I loved Vera. Oh my god. This book was also so funny, but it was also really like heartfelt and emotional. And then the big reveal at the end, like I guessed part of it, but I didn't guess all of it. I mean, the part that I guessed I thought was pretty obvious, but the whole reveal, like instead of feeling like, oh my god, wow, I just felt like, oh, that's so devastating. Like it really got me. So I really love this book, and I hope everyone reads it. I definitely want to read more from Jessie Q Sutanto because I just loved it. Also, I would highly recommend the audiobook. The audiobook was great. I loved this. Oh my god, so good. Then we have A Fragile Enchantment, which was also 5 stars. I'm gonna put it, I think, in front of The Dreamers. This we read for the Winers Book Club. No, we never had our live show. Will we ever? I don't know. Our lives just keep getting in the way of these live shows, but I did really enjoy this book. I also listened to the audiobook, which I really liked. This is a YA fantasy about this girl who is a like dressmaker, but she can weave magic into her dresses, and she is hired to make the wedding dress for like the royal wedding, and also the wedding suit, I think, for the groom. And then she meets the groom, and he's very grumpy, and so obviously I love that. But he's very grumpy, and like this is an arranged marriage, and he doesn't really want to marry this girl. And then of course, as they work together, they start to fall in love, and it's really cute. And I just really liked it. There's also like a mystery storyline. I don't remember exactly what was going on. I think there was like someone, like a gossip column, and they were trying to figure out like who was writing all this gossip, something like that. I don't know, I just really love the romance, and I thought it was really cute. And I don't know if this is a standalone, but if it has a sequel, I will definitely read it. So yeah, I just thought it was a silly, goofy time. I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. And then we have Eve Brown, which I also gave 5 stars. Look at that. So Act Your Age, Eve Brown is the 3rd book in the Chloe Brown sister, not Chloe Brown, in the Brown Sisters trilogy. I read obviously the first 2, Chloe and Danny Brown. Chloe Brown I really liked, and Danny Brown I didn't really like that much. Eve Brown is by far my favorite. I loved this. This was so freaking cute. You're following Eve Brown, who's a bit of a mess. She's 26, I'm 26, and she often starts new jobs and then never follows them through. She kind of quits while she's ahead because she's worried of failing. And then her parents sit her down and is like, you can't do that anymore, so we're gonna cut you off from your trust fund, and you have to stick with a job for at least a year before you have access to it again. So she kind of freaks out, and she like drives away, and she finds a hiring sign outside a restaurant. So she's like, I'll just get a job there. She goes in to interview, and it's for a B&B, and the owner is very grumpy again. We love the grumpy boys, and he's like, I'm not hiring her, man. And then he goes to leave, and she ends up hitting him with her car. And he's fine, but his arm is broken. And so to kind of make it up to him, well, she ends up getting hired because now he can't work. And so they need all the help they can get, and then they get to know each other, and it's great. And also this book has great autistic rep because Jacob, the love interest, is autistic, and oh my god, they were so cute. And the ending was so sweet. And like, I didn't mind the 3rd act breakup because it wasn't even really a breakup, was it? I'm trying to remember. But I really loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was great. And then we have Highly Suspicious. I'm putting that at the head of Down Bad, Crying at the Gym. This was as the title suggests, very cute. And it's also by Talia Hibbert. It is her YA book, and it is about these two teenagers, Celine and Bradley, I think are their names. I read this back in February. It's been a while. And basically they are like friends to rivals to lovers, because they used to be best friends, but then something happened, we don't know what. Now they're academic rivals. They both enter this like contest to win this scholarship, but the contest is like a wilderness retreat survival camp thing. I honestly don't remember, but so they go to the camp and they're upset with each other, but then they talk and then they're like, wait, maybe I like them. And oh my god, this book has such a cute moment where like they realize that they like each other. I love that moment in books when they're like, why do I think about them all the time, and why do I, and then they're like, oh my god, I love them. Like, I don't know. I really like this book. I did find Celine a little bit annoying sometimes, just a little bit, but I think I gave this 4.5 stars. I really love this. So there's that. Then we have Ripe, which I'm gonna put here. I had, wow, whoops, here, no, here, there. I didn't realize how many 5 stars I had, but these are all, I mean, these are the only 5 stars I've had all year because I didn't have any in January. But Ripe is about corporate America and how capitalism sucks, and you're following this woman who is working her little corporate girly job, and she basically hates everything, and she talks about this black hole that follows her everywhere she goes, and the black hole obviously represents her depression. And this book is very short, and I wouldn't read this if you're not in a good headspace, because it basically is just about this woman's depression and how she feels like her job is basically killing her, and there's a lot of suicidal ideation in this book. So just be aware of that before you go into it, but I really loved it. Yeah, it really did something for me. Like, I was reading it and I was like, I know, I get it. I mean, I don't work a corporate job, thank God, and I hopefully never will, but I just thought I really loved the way it was written. I really liked the audiobook, and I just really liked it. I don't know what to tell you. Then we have Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. That goes at the head of Down Bad Crying at the Gym. I read this fairly recently and I gave it 4.5 stars, I think. I gave Alison Cochrane's other 2 books 5 stars, so this one I didn't love as much as those ones, but I still loved it. And again, I love her writing, so I think I'll love anything she ever writes. But this one is about these 2 girls who are, again, friends to enemies to lovers. They were best friends when they were teenagers, and then something happened and they weren't friends anymore. They hated each other, and now they're going on this road trip because their high school English teacher, who they loved so much, is dying of cancer and has requested for them to drive him to Maine from, where are they? I don't know the US, but several states away because he has a cottage in Maine and that's where he wants to die, to spend the remainder of his life. And he asks them to drive him, and so they're like, we'll have to put away our differences to give him like the best last few weeks of his life. And so of course they're in close proximity. They start to work through their issues, and then they're like, wait, I love you. So I loved this. I mean, this one was a pretty heavy book, even though it is a romance, but you know, this whole book is leading up to the death of their teacher, who does die on page, and there is a content warning at the beginning of the book that there is an on-page death in this book. So just so you know that. I mean, the scene is beautiful. I may have cried a little bit when I read it. So, I mean, Alison Cochrane's writing is beautiful. I just didn't connect with the 2 main characters as much as her other books, but I still loved it. I love how there's always an ace character in her books, which I really appreciate. And this book was just so queer, like just casually queer. Pretty much every character in this book is queer. I love that. So yeah, this is a beautiful book. I just didn't love it quite as much as her other books, but still down bad crying at the gym. Truly crying at the gym because this was sad. Then we have Spy Family volume, ooh, which volume is this? 5? 4? Which one? Wait, what did I read? I think it's 4, or is it 5? I think it's 5, I don't remember. But I'm gonna put this, I don't know. I really liked this one. I'm gonna put it here. I don't know what else to say about this series. It's a very popular series. It is about this found family where the dad is a secret agent, the mom is an assassin. They keep their secrets from each other, and they have a daughter who is a telepath who can read both their minds. So she knows that her mom is an assassin and her dad is a secret agent, but no one else knows each other's secrets, and it's just really funny. And I love Anya so much, the little girl. And this one I definitely liked the most since I think the second volume. I'm pretty sure this is the 5th volume. But it was just so funny. Like there's one scene, and it's not gonna be funny if you don't see the panel, but there's one scene where the brother is eating food. It's not good, but he's like scarfing it down. He's like, oh my god, this food is so good. And then this woman is like, you're literally throwing up. Every time I think about that, I giggle, but it's not funny if you don't look at the panel. Anyways, we have one last book, Hang the Moon. Oh my god, I didn't put any, and I'm so... Oh. Laszlo's making noise in his sleep, so sorry if you hear that. I just realized I didn't put any, and I'm so depressed. I act like it's my birthday. So I'm gonna put Hang the Moon there. Ta-da! So this is the second book in the like Written in the Stars trilogy by Alexandre Bellefleur. This follows the brother of one of the characters in the first book and the best friend of the other character in the first book. I really liked the first book. I thought it was really cute. This one was fine. I mean, honestly, because I liked it more than... Here, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put these down here. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like that makes more sense. Because the ones in Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, I liked while I was reading them, but then they just weren't books that would stick with me. These ones, I just didn't really like very much. I don't know. Or did I? I don't think so. But they're still 3 stars, but like a low 3 stars. Anyway, Hang the Moon. None of this matters. But yeah, Hang the Moon is just another romance. It's still queer because the female main character is bisexual, except I found, like, I think they only mention it once. It just kind of felt like thrown in to just be like, look, it's still queer. So I don't know. I thought it was cute, but like I found it kind of got old fast. Like I was like, okay, like you're cute. And also the girl was really annoying. So do I want to keep it there? I'm gonna keep it there because it was still fine to listen to. I don't know. So this is my tier ranking. I like how it just goes down. But yeah, so those are all the books that I read in February, March, and April. Hopefully this was somehow entertaining at all. I don't know. Hopefully I will get better with my wrap-ups for the rest of the year. I'll try to do them monthly so that I actually remember the books that I read. But definitely my favorite book was I'll Give You the Sun. I loved it so much. But also Vera Wang. Loved her so much too. What is your favorite book that you've read so far this year? I'd love to know that. If you watched till the end, leave the sun emoji. Laszlo just keeps sighing. But leave the sun emoji for I'll Give You the Sun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!